The most terrifying sound in any room is silence. Because silence means you don't know what they're thinking, and what you can't predict, you fear. And in this twisted world, people aren't scared of noise. They're terrified of what they can't read. So, let's dive into why people fear the silent ones. Oh, by the way, I always feature my favorite comment from the last video at the end, so stick around to see if it's yours. 1. Silence creates mystery. Human beings hate uncertainty. If someone talks too much, you can predict them, categorize them, even dismiss them. But a silent person? They're unreadable. And our brains despise the unknown. Think about it. When you're around someone who doesn't reveal much, your mind starts racing. What are they thinking? Do they like me? Do they hate me? Are they plotting something? That mental chaos they trigger in others is pure power. When you shut up, you hijack people's imaginations. And trust me, their imaginations torture them way more than your words ever could. 2. Silence forces respect. The loud one gets mocked, the silent one gets studied. That's because speaking less naturally forces others to lean in, listen harder, and value what little you say. It's like expensive jewelry. Scarcity increases value. If you're always running your mouth, your words are cheap. But if you drop one sentence after 10 minutes of silence, suddenly everyone's ears perk up. 3. Silence intimidates insecure people. Let's be real. Insecure people are scared of mirrors. And silence? It acts like a mirror. When you don't react, don't over-explain, don't feed their ego, they start projecting their own insecurities. They'll think, why didn't he answer me? Did I say something stupid? Why isn't she laughing at my joke? Am I boring? Your silence exposes their own weakness, and insecure people hate that. Silence doesn't just protect you, it reveals them. 4. Silence breaks the social script. Most conversations are built on patterns: question, answer, joke, laugh, insult, reaction. But when you stay silent, you break the script, and breaking the script makes people uncomfortable. That discomfort, that's control, because now they're adjusting to you. They're scrambling to fill the silence while you sit there calm, collected, untouchable. 5. Silence is linked with strength. Since childhood, we've been trained to see silence as strength. Think about movies. The deadly assassin barely talks. The boss in the mafia doesn't scream, he just nods, and everyone obeys. The king doesn't argue, he looks, and people bow. That conditioning is burned into our psychology. Loudness equals weakness. Silence equals danger. So when you carry yourself with quietness, people's brains automatically assign you more power. 6. Silence makes you a better observer. Here's another advantage. When you're not yapping, you're watching. You catch micro-expressions, small shifts in tone, hidden dynamics. People fear the silent ones because they know. You're noticing everything they're trying to hide, and nothing terrifies humans more than the thought of being seen. 7. Silence is misinterpreted as judgment. Here's the real kicker. When you're silent, people assume you're judging them. Even if you're just daydreaming about tacos, your quietness makes others paranoid. They think you're smarter, sharper, secretly evaluating their every move. And paranoia eats people alive. That's why many can't stand silence. It amplifies their self-doubt. 8. Silence gives you negotiation power. In arguments, silence is a weapon. Most people can't handle pauses. They'll blurt out secrets, over-explain, or even expose their own lies just to fill the gap. The silent one always wins because silence makes the other side crack first. That's why in business, in debates, even in dating, the person who stays calm and quiet usually ends up in control. 9. Silence makes you unpredictable. Loud people are easy to read. Silent people, they're unpredictable. And unpredictability equals power. Why? Because nobody can prepare against you. Nobody knows if you'll strike, ignore, laugh, or walk away. That unpredictability keeps people cautious around you, and caution is just another word for fear. 10. Silence creates psychological distance. When you talk less, you become less accessible. And distance creates authority. Teachers, bosses, leaders, the ones who don't mingle too much are always respected more. Familiarity breeds comfort, but silence breeds status. It's the difference between the friend who texts you every hour and the one who disappears for a week, then replies once. Who do you value more? The scarce one, always. 11. Silence equals self-mastery. The ultimate power move is self-control, and silence is living proof that you're not controlled by impulses. You're not desperate for attention, approval, or validation. People fear silent ones because silence screams, "I don't need you, but you probably need me." So here's the truth. People don't fear silence because it's empty. They fear it because it's full of possibilities, full of mystery, full of the unknown. Silence makes them uncomfortable, insecure, and cautious. And that's exactly why it's power. The loud ones burn out. The silent ones are remembered. So the next time someone demands your reaction, do them a favor. Give them silence. Because silence doesn't just speak louder than words. It screams power while making them beg for the noise. So, always remember that silence is not emptiness. It's a battlefield. When you stay quiet, you're not backing down. You're letting their mind tear itself apart. Every second of your silence is another dagger of doubt they stab themselves with. People fear the silent ones because you strip away their illusions. You expose their insecurity, and you make them wrestle with their own demons. That's why the quiet ones walk into a room and instantly shift the energy without even trying. Remember, words can be twisted, argued with, or forgotten. Silence, it crawls under the skin, lingers in their head, and keeps them awake at night, replaying what you didn't say. That's why the world fears the silent ones. Not because you're weak, not because you're passive, but because silence is the one weapon that leaves scars without ever drawing blood. Oh, and for the people who always ask for books recommendation for the topic discussed, I would suggest you read The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. This is the Bible of power psychology. Greene breaks down why silence and mystery are some of the most intimidating power moves you can make. Laws like always say less than necessary and keep others in suspended terror explain exactly why the silent ones hold the upper hand. The second book for this topic I would highly recommend is Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Susan Cain. This one takes a deep dive into the hidden strengths of quiet people. It shows how silence, observation, and calmness can influence others far more than constant chatter, and why society secretly fears and respects introverts. Lastly, I would recommend you read In Sheep's Clothing by George K. Simon. This one is my new favorite. It shows how manipulators weaponize silence and passive tactics to dominate others. It explains the subtle psychological games people play, and why silence unnerves everyone who tries to control you. The comment of the day goes to Tambourine Man, and it reads, "Thanks for this video. I've made most of these mistakes at some point in my life. I'll be working on being a better man until I die." You're welcome, man. Most people stay in denial their whole lives, but you're owning it and leveling up. That's what separates men who grow from men who rot.